There we go.
We're
Good morning. We're live.
Good morning.
so exciting. Good morning, Annette.
Absolutely. Morning.
Good morning, Simone.
Good morning.
I want to introduce everyone to this amazing dynamo that I met recently, and I have just been so wowed by her. I could not wait to have her come and talk with us today. So, Simone McNitt is the founder and executive director of Encore Placement. It's a nonprofit organization that assists in placing experienced workers 50 and older in meaningful, equitable, paid jobs with age-friendly employers in the greater Cleveland community. Simone serves as a program co-chair of the Council on Older Persons, an advisory committee of the Center for Community Solutions, and on racial equity, diversity, and inclusion advisory committee for Art Therapy Studio Greater Cleveland. She's the co-chair on the Livable Cuyahoga Social Engagement Subcommittee and previously served as the board chair of, is it Cleveland Sherm?
Yes.
For talent acquisition. Simone is a Society of Human Resource Management certified professional and a certified women business enterprise, minority business enterprise, and small business enterprise owner. Whoa! She mentors experienced professionals, providing guidance and tools to assist individuals in learning their marketable skills. And in each of these ventures, she has dedicated herself to fostering age-inclusive workplaces.
I love this. I love you, Simone.
Oh,
In 2021, she was named as one of Crane's notable entrepreneurs for her ability to place seniors in a tight market as the owner of Talent Inclusion Partner LLC. Wow. I don't even know where to begin, Simone, because you are such a powerhouse. And I think maybe the first thing that I would invite you to tell us about is just why you're so passionate about age inclusive environments, especially because you focus not just on the seniors, you also, or the experienced workers, and you also focus on another end of the market.
Yep. College students. So college students getting out of school, there's, first, let me just tell you, ageism is ageless, just point blank. It really is. So when you're getting out of college after 4 years, you're trying to find where you belong, where you want to go, start your career. And it's one thing to study books, it's another thing to have that internship. But once you get out there, you're going to need someone on the job mentoring you, showing you the way.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe having many generations in a workforce is awesome. It's a whole cultural experience. And it's a win-win experience for everyone involved. So I like working with college students. I like working with older adults who've decided, I like what I've done. Maybe I want to do something different. Or maybe I want to work less. Maybe I want to do some consulting. I feel like if you've got it here and you've got it here, you can stay in the job market.
That is so amazing. And I think one of the challenges we have, I love what you said, ageism is ageless.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges we have is, who is our customer base? And is our internal hiring representative of our customer base?
That's a hard one. I think it's going to depend on the industry.
Okay.
I've realized that nonprofits, they have a variety of individuals working within their organizations. But up top, this has changed within the last maybe about 5 years, to where the executive directors are more in tune with what's going on culturally, what's going on in the workforce, as far as wanting to bring in the younger generation and help mentoring them. We used to have a lot of older executives who felt like, hey, I've been here 30 years. I belong here. I don't need new ideas.
Mm.
And once you get in that mindset, it's an issue.
Yeah.
It's an issue. So having representation of every generation and staying current with what's going on in the environment, it's really important.
It is really important. And I think it's important to recognize exactly what you're saying, which is it's not only the younger people that need to be mentored, right? We could all benefit from being mentored by somebody that's different than us, either in thought or background or education level. But we can also be leveled up by somebody with different technology skills,
Absolutely.
different thoughts, different ways of being. And so when I sometimes work with my older clients that are, 35 plus, they're like, these young people, I'm like, no.
No.
We don't talk about that, about these young people. We need these young people. And you may not realize it, but you need them more than they need you. And why not give of yourself? Why not create a legacy by working well with the younger people, to transfer on knowledge or the history of an organization, so that it doesn't die when the older generations start retiring. So that's why I love that you're working with like both ends of the workforces in the generations in the workforce, because they'll bring everybody in the middle together.
Yes. Now we need to all start working with the hiring managers, the executives. Because years ago, I really feel like they were pitting the older generation and the younger generation against each other.
Yeah.
The older generation really felt that if I train you, you're going to take my position and I'll have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a management issue.
Yeah, that's a cultural issue, right? Where they create that sort of environment where that's how people feel, because it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's so interesting because I've heard that so many times. And I've always been of the opinion that if I don't train someone to take my spot, I can't move on, because I'm tied to this role that nobody else can do. So it's just so fascinating to me.
That's because, Sandra, you have a growth mindset. You want it to grow and get on to the next thing. Some people aren't like that.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah.
And I think there's value in noticing that we need both of those people in an organization, because I've also been in organizations where people are penalized for not wanting to move up the corporate ladder or not wanting to move on to the next position. And, people view them as, well, they're not a solid worker as a result of that. When the reality is, if everybody's trying to climb the corporate ladder, then no one's focused on doing the work that is currently on their plate.
Right. And I've looked at that. I've talked to individuals about that. Why are you hesitant on moving on? And sometimes it's a lack of training.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lack of self-esteem. I don't know what's going to come with that next position. What if I take that next position and I get fired because I'm not as good as I thought I was?
Yes.
Which, again, I have to tell you, it's a management issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because if management was having opportunities for those individuals to continue their training, their education, and leading them up to the next step, they wouldn't have a problem. They would know, I'm ready.
So let's dive into that conversation a little bit. Let's talk about what an employee can do for themselves to track their success, to talk about it with their leadership, right? Because the fact that I keep it in a spreadsheet or keep it in my handy dandy journal does me no good if I'm only getting talked to once a year during performance review time. So what are some habits that you would encourage people to work on developing so that they can track their success and talk about it more frequently?
So here at Encore Employment Enterprise, we do a couple of different things. So we have a 6-month review to get you ready for your yearly review. And I always tell people, when you come in and we sit down and talk, I want you to have every accomplishment that you've had over the year. Don't wait till the last minute and say, oh yeah, I don't remember. I did do a presentation for you, but I don't remember. I mean, I do have it because I keep it on my calendar. But you got to show that initiative. You've got to take charge of your career. It's yours. The other thing that I like to do our one-on-ones. So with our one-on-ones, we always set up, because we just had one last week, getting ready for the year.
Okay.
So we mapped out our goals. And the staff's goals are pretty in line with mine, which are in line with our grant goals. So it's no surprise. You know what we need to do, and we talk about it and we keep it front of mind. I have mine on my desk. They have theirs on their desk, and everything is working towards those goals.
Yeah. We're all moving in the same direction.
Yeah. And when we talk about, one of the things that I always tell them that they have to put on their goals is professional development. That can be, I need to go to a training over at Tri-C or some other college. I want to go to a seminar. And when you're in a nonprofit, you have to budget for that.
Yeah.
But knowing ahead of time, it's really important, because if they're not learning and growing, they're going to end up leaving. So all the time and energy I put into bringing them in and creating a wonderful culture, it's going out the door if I'm not giving them what they need.
Oh, so refreshing to hear that there's organizations that do this work and lay the foundation for their team members to be successful, because that's really what's hard. I can't believe that people don't have these conversations with their leaders. But some leaders don't know how to have these conversations. So personal development isn't only for like the hourly or the staff members, right? Personal development is for everybody.
Yes. So I get mine from my board. Like I tell them each year, I need a coach, and I need a coach in this area, because I've never done fundraising.
Okay.
So I'm like, I need someone to help me with fundraising. I need to be mentored in this area.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
You've got to speak up. If you like what you're doing and you want to stay within a certain area, you've got to make sure that you're staying current and getting what you need, because things are changing so quickly.
Yeah.
And the technology is amazing. Like I was telling Sandra this morning, I've never done anything with the streaming. And I was like, yay, thank you. So this is really great.
Yeah, right. So new experiences get you, and new people get you in front of new experiences, right? So continuing to network and meeting new people, like you met Sandra at the women's entrepreneurship event last November. Like that is key to staying relevant and staying on top of things, because I know I do. I learn so much just by talking with other people.
Yes. So we have a training class here, a call center training class for individuals 50 and older, just helping them upskill. If you want to work in a call center environment and you've never done it before, we offer the 6-week paid training. From that training, I learned from a lot of the participants that were in there, yeah, we've never really been to any kind of event that would show us what entrepreneurs do or women who are growing their businesses. And I thought, you got to be kidding me.
Mhm.
So I talked with Lorraine and she's like, yeah, bring some individuals from your classes if they want to come. And they did. We had 3 ladies come and they really enjoyed it. So now we're going to be doing it ongoing.
That's amazing. Yeah, I grew up working in call centers, contact centers. So knowing that a program like yours exists is amazing because many people want to stay in the workforce, but they don't want to do a physical job or a service job. They
Right.
don't want to be a server in a restaurant any longer, or they don't want to get on the floor with little kids, right? So
Right.
what's something that you can do that is easy to do, right? And it's really a knowledge work job.
Yes. Yes. And
Mhm.
I am telling you, when I first decided that I really wanted to do this, because I have a call center background as well,
Mhm.
I thought, well, this is absolutely purpose. This is a wonderful purpose because of the fact that the older adults, they've got the soft skills.
Yeah.
The only thing that they're missing is updating the technology aspect.
Mhm.
That part's easy to that's easy to train and to
Yeah,
teach. The
sure.
soft skills, either you have that emotional connection with someone over the phone or you don't. That and it's got to be authentic.
Mhm.
So
Yes. It's you feel it over the phone when it's
yeah,
not. And
yeah,
it's so easy to tell when someone's not paying attention either.
yes, 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 it is. Yes, it is.
Love it. So
I
what
have
are
no
some
idea what you mean with, my children scrolling on the phone while I'm talking to them and they're not paying attention to me at all.
sometimes when my husband's talking to me, he's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying attention at all. You should start right back from the beginning.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. You were going to say,
No, that's it. That's amazing. So can you talk a little bit more about there's this thought that women in the workforce don't get as much ad hoc feedback from their managers. So they might wait for a more formal setting, like you were talking about a one-on-one, a 6-month review, a performance review. So what would you say to managers and leaders in corporate America about giving your direct reports that ad hoc, like walking out of a meeting, like, hey, that went well, or oh my God, your slide 15 is a hot mess. Like, how can we encourage people to talk to their team members about real performance?
First, I'm going to highly suggest that they get to know each person on their staff. Yeah, it's time consuming, but it is valuable. It is absolutely valuable. Don't interview someone, hire them, and not talk to them
Yeah.
until it's time for review. Because by that time, I'm going to tell you right now, if they want, they're going to be gone.
Mhm.
They're going to leave. By the time you sit down and talk at that review, they're ready to tell you, here's my 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Because you're already not going to have enough information to give them that increase that they probably well earned and deserved.
Yes.
But having brief conversations and not waiting to the one-on-one, saying hello to someone when they come in, expressing, oh my gosh, thank you for coming in today. I know it's so cold and you probably could have worked from home. I appreciate having you here today.
Mhm.
That's
hmm.
going to open up more conversation.
Yes.
Don't walk past your employees into this. And don't bleed on your employees. Don't your boss chewed you out for something. Don't take it out on your employees.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
having those little side conversations, or you know that it's nasty outside because we live here.
Northeast Ohio, in the tundra.
Yeah. How would you feel if you went out to the parking lot, you've got all the snow in your car, and 2 cars away from you is your supervisor? Would you be so impressed and excited if they came over with their brush and brushed off your car?
Mm.
I mean, that costs you nothing.
Right.
It shows you care. It shows you respect them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to find ways to communicate, find ways to let that person know you value them, because you absolutely do.
Yeah.
It is not easy to find someone that wants to come in every day and enjoy what they're doing. It's
Yeah.
pricey to replace people. I know people say everybody's replaceable, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I hear you saying probably the best advice ever, which is be a human to the humans that you work with and watch it pay off.
Yeah. Annette, one thing that people keep saying, and it blows my mind, but it's going to take time for it to change. Soft skills. What are soft skills? They're people skills. That's what they are. They're human people skills. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So talk. Yeah, be a human. Get interested
Yeah.
in what the people around you. Not that we have to be like deep into their personal lives or their personal drama, but I agree with you. Saying good morning, checking to make sure the temperature in the office is okay,
Yes.
making a reasonable concession when somebody can't get into the office, like, oh my gosh, my battery died. Okay, can you work from home today? Right.
Right.
Talking to giving people what you would want, giving people what they want in an experience. And you have to be connected to people to know what those things are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that there's a lot to be said for laying boundaries, because that's really how we get to know people. Like you can feel free to text me, but I probably won't respond, unless it's after 7 a.m. in the morning and not after 8 p.m. at night. Right. So like just setting an expectation so that if you're not texting them back because it's 8:30 and your phone's in night mode, they're not sitting there like, oh my gosh, they're mad at me. They haven't texted me back.
Right.
What's going on? Right. So communication is key. So
Yes.
key.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny you said that, because we have those, I call them policies, but that's just basically letting people know, if you text me, which I'm not a big texter,
Okay.
just know that I will get back with you. But if you text me any earlier than 8 o'clock, I might not get back to you immediately because I haven't seen it yet, or because I'm already here in the office because I get here at 7 o'clock. So
right. And you're just not looking at your phone. You're not on it like that.
yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's communication is key, but then expectations or boundaries around it really make it a lot easier for people to feel heard.
Yes.
One of the things that Annette introduced me to, Simone, and I have fallen in love with this concept, and I tell people about it every time I can. She calls it her personal user manual.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Annette?
Yeah.
It's
something I learned about on LinkedIn like over 10 years ago. And it is really helpful. You sit and you reflect on, there's 4 or 5 areas, and you answer these key questions like, what's the best way to communicate with me? What is something I'm not willing to stand for? You sort of lay out all of your personal policies that interact with others at work. And then you share those, and then you ask your team to do that same reflection and share.
We have it in our application file.
Do you really?
Yes, because so I think it comes from my experience of how I like things and how I like to be treated.
Yes.
And I want to know each one of my employees. I run a nonprofit. It is not, I don't have the luxury of replacing my employees. People I hire, I don't feel like they can be replaced. And I would be devastated if they left. But if they left, it's probably something that they really needed to do. I absolutely know that no one on my team's going to leave because I didn't care about them as a person or as an employee. I know what colors they like. I know what candies they like. I know when they're dieting. I take the time. You have to do it up front because those are the people that you want to keep. I'm not saying that we're family because they know I have rules about that.
Right.
There's a line. But they also know that if their car is not running, they are not to try to get on the bus. They are not trying to race here to get here to be on time. I That's not necessary.
Mhm.
If anything happens to them, I'll I'll be at the hospital as soon as I can get there. That's
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah. It's the people you care about, right? I always say that, friends are the family you choose, but similarly at work, right? These people help your business run, help your department run. They are invaluable. They are a part of the machine that moves things forward.
That's
So
right.
can you value them in that capacity and help them grow so that they either stay with you or grow with you? And then one other attitude that always knocked me out was when other managers didn't want their team members to get promoted. Did you experience that in your professional life, Simone or Sandra?
Call center.
Yeah.
So when I worked at a banking call center, and it was one of the first ones here in Cleveland, um, really, really great job. And I came from retail. I just remember enjoying what I was doing, but I needed more because I took a step down. It it seemed like a step down at the time to go into a call center as a call center rep when I left retail as an assistant manager. But the hours were better and it was just awesome. But the manager that I reported to, really nice guy, and he would tell me if another position opens up on another team, I don't want you to go. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't want me to go? And I think because of what he said to me helped me because I developed a whole manual for growth within the call center.
Yeah.
And I ended up talking to a couple of people that I needed to talk to. And the upcoming VP said, "Oh my gosh, this makes sense. This makes sense." And we implemented it. I had to interview for the position I wanted that I created,
Sure.
but I got it. I
Mhm.
got it. So I guess my takeaway with that is hear what that person has to say. And if that person is telling you, I really don't want you to move because you're so great, oh my gosh, kudos to you. Now take that knowledge and run with it.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And from a leader's perspective, know that they can either grow with you or they can say, oh my gosh, when Simone was my manager, she helped me get promoted. I'm
Right.
forever grateful for her. Would you rather have somebody talk to you about that or like, oh, Simone didn't let me get promoted and I had to leave
Yeah.
the company to get what I
Right.
needed?
Right.
Right. Those are the options. Which leader do you want to be? And that starts with these initial conversations about performance and here's my preference, what are your preferences, right? It's all this full circle of how we treat people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope managers are sharing that performance review from day one. This is what you're going to be reviewed on
Yes.
from day one. And if it changes, let your employees know. It's not a secret.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not a pop quiz, it's your
Yeah.
performance,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah.
showing up every day hopefully to get closer to those goals, to do your part to get closer to those goals. So yeah, share everything you have, everything you know, everything that you can share. Sometimes you can't, I get it.
Yeah.
But when you can loop them in or tell your direct reports what's happening, it's so much better.
Oh my gosh. I remember a young lady that I worked with. She had one of the top notch mentor manager who saw something in her, and he was so right. And he helped her flourish as an individual. And when something came open at another company, he told her about it and he helped her get that position. And she talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And now she's running that company.
Wow. Yeah. Helping somebody else shine doesn't make you shine any less.
No, it makes you shine brighter. Oh my gosh. You shine brighter.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Agreed.
And I think it's also one of the things that I like about what you are both describing is that people can contribute to an organization in many different roles. And sometimes the role that they're in, they're good, but they could be outstanding in a different role. And I think that part of the role that the manager plays is not only in helping their team members develop, grow, but also helping them recognize where their talents and the job create this circle of like beautiful support for both, right? Because some people end up in a role and, like I said, they're good, but they could be outstanding in a different role and they're afraid to move or shift. Or maybe they're afraid of how it might be viewed if they move or shift. And oftentimes I've found, especially in IT, we have to chart our own careers, and people don't appreciate when we move. And then, it's like, well, why would you go over there and do that? Because it seems so unrelated to the skills that you have. And then you fast forward 8 years and you realize all those little micro steps that they made gave them such a well-rounded depth of information that now they're able to progress into a step that nobody saw for them. But because they managed their career, they were able to fill in all of those different gaps that seemed unrelated at the time, but were so critical in providing that, foundation.
Yeah. That is really, that is like a stepping stone that should be taught to individuals, high school, if you're going into a trade, or college students. Don't be so, I went to school for engineering, but the first job I got was customer service, so I'm going to leave it off of my resume going forward. Eventually, you're going to have to take some of that stuff off your resume, but don't be embarrassed about, quote unquote, your beginnings, because it's setting you up for your future. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially I'm thinking like engineers are sort of stereotyped, right? Straight laced. They don't have lots of conversation. They're get it done kind of people. And then if I saw somebody with also customer service experience, I'm like, ooh, okay. No, now we have an engineer that thinks linearly and talks about the technical aspects, but also has, like we were talking about, people skills. So yes, whatever shows you in the best light. Yeah. And that's why, doing a, sticking your resume through AI and like having it spit something out is not, Simone's laughing. It's not the way to go. It needs a human element. You have to think about what your hiring manager wants. And then you have to make the resume show and demonstrate those skills and expertise. Yeah.
I don't care how much people try. AI is not going to have the human skills because it's not human. It's not human. So,
Oh my gosh. Just for fun, you should be like, hey, ChatGPT, write me this cover letter. Oh my gosh, the cover letter, you're going to die, Simone, because it just sounds like a 1994 cover letter. It is the cheesiest thing I've ever seen, but it does make me laugh. So every once in a while, just to entertain myself, I'll ask it to write me a cover letter.
So in a couple of weeks, we're going to be having an amazing conversation around AI with, and yes, and I'm very excited for that conversation. And I want to recall this conversation we're having about resume writing when we're having that conversation about AI.
Okay.
Yes,
we can do it.
that would be
Hiring practices and screening and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And it's funny because people think, oh, yeah, this sounds really great. They won't be able to tell. Oh, yeah. Well, we can because we're human.
We have human skills.
We have human skills. That's right.
I am like totally writing that down.
Human skill. I'm highly skilled in human skills. There you go.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So Simone, from where you're sitting now and all the lives that you get to touch, people entering the workforce, re-entering the workforce, people finding out what they're meant to do in the last stages of their careers, what would be your best piece of advice?
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. So people who are pivoting and deciding that they want to do something different, they decided a while ago, but they haven't taken that plunge because they're nervous. They're scared. What if it doesn't work? Well, what if it doesn't work? You go back to what you know and you try again. So don't be hesitant to try. And for those college students that are coming out and thinking that they have to have this perfect job and I'm going to pay off all of my bills immediately, unless you're living at home, probably not. But look for those mentors. Your next door neighbor, look for people that know you and are invested in your growth. Don't be afraid.
We're 37 minutes in, and I'm going to do it.
Do it, Sandra. Do it.
I always do this, Simone. I come up with a new topic like 37 minutes into the conversation. But I have to jump in on what you just said. Why are new people entering the workplace so terrified of networking?
This is not nice, but I've encountered that that social media has its pluses and minuses. I don't want to say anything negative about it, but getting in a room and having conversation with people is totally different than having conversation on this and texting someone. It's not the same. That's not networking. That is not networking.
Yeah.
And I do know that the pandemic definitely it has not helped.
No.
But it's gone. It's past us. So we do need to get back out. Even if you have a networking event via Zoom, you're still meeting people.
Or you just sit down and have a cup of coffee with somebody.
Yes.
So I could go on for hours, and we don't have hours, but I have two young workforce entrants. And every time I say, oh, I just, ran into this person, they have this information, jump on a call and just say, can I pick your brain? They're like, oh, no, I can't do that. That's creepy. That's weird. That's like all these things. It's uncomfortable. Yeah. It's called networking. And it's an important human skill you need to develop.
It is. And I tell parents, you know what? They're not teaching that at school. So you need to teach it at home.
Yes.
You need to tell them how you used to get your positions, how you interviewed. Even though some of that's changed, it's still the same connection.
Yes.
The follow-up, the thank you note, even if you want to do a thank you email. That's how I picked my intern, mind you. He's totally awesome. But the other individuals that I interviewed, they didn't send me a thank you note. They didn't ask any follow-up questions. I said, do you have any questions about what we do here?
No.
Or did you do any research? No, no. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then later when I called to give them feedback, oh, yeah, I didn't know that. But he was so on target. He sent me a thank you. He sent me a follow-up. Although I have to laugh, he's like, yeah, I knew I was supposed to send a follow-up, but I didn't have anything because we had talked so long. So I just made it up. But you know what? He did it.
Yes. He did it. Yeah. 50%, 57% of people send a thank you note after an interview. And that's it. It's so wild. And yes, email, a LinkedIn message, like anything is acceptable. Make the connection and reach out. Yeah. And that's why it's so easy to stand out.
Yes.
In the job market right now, because everybody is still thinking this is 2019 and hitting the apply button on the company's website will land you the job. No. And that's just the beginning. You have to do that. I agree with you, but that's not where it ends. That's where it starts.
I can honestly tell you, both of my young adults have gotten congratulations. Oh my gosh, the reason I hired you is because of your follow-up and your thank you notes.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they interview the people that are interviewing them.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to.
It has to be a conversation. Otherwise, it's an interrogation, and it's not a good look.
No, it's not. No.
Simone, this has been such a wonderful conversation. Sandra, what do you have to add? I know she's always
going to party like it's 1999, not 2019.
Okay.
I'm going out.
That was a totally different job market, and we could talk about the fax machine and circling things in the newspaper.
Faxing. I can't believe it. Like, people are still faxing. Where do I fax this? No, don't fax it.
I don't know where you're going to fax that to. That's what I don't know. I don't know where you're going to fax that to.
Okay, well, I'm going to be singing Prince on the way out.
Get it.
Oh my gosh, Simone, thank you so much for joining us. Tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Yes. So you can reach me 2 places. You can reach me at talentipartner.com, or you can reach me at, this one's a little harder, it's e3encore.org.
Okay.
And we'll come back and we'll post those in the chats or in the comment section after. Thank you so much. I love our conversations.
Yeah.
We could talk for another 3 hours. I know we can.
Yes. And Annette, it was wonderful meeting you.
So wonderful meeting you. We'll have to connect offline since we have like a shared history that we didn't know about.
Yes, absolutely. And I look forward to your book.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Want to see the proof that I got in the mail?
Yes.
There it is. So it's a little guide to help people develop better habits. We talk about pulling together accomplishments for your performance review. Sandra, I talk about the personal user manual.
Yes.
In here.
Yes.
But it's a short read. It's 80 pages, and it really, I hope it will be the guide that people are looking for, because we always talk about the career transition or the career change, and we don't often talk about the day-to-day career stuff, networking, keeping track of what you've done throughout the year, investing in your personal growth, going to a training class, networking, by attending a meeting. Oh, how weird. But it's all down here. It's like 15 suggestions that you can do that won't push you so far out of your comfort zone that you're freaking out, but will get you moving in a different direction.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing your expertise, which goes right along with the information I'm sharing in the book.
Excellent. Good. Well, thank you both. Have a great day. Stay warm.
We'll do what we can around that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got my space heater going.
Thanks, Simone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.